I'm going to demonstrate the first section of the first form in Dragon and Tiger Medical Qigong. In Dragon and Tiger, there are 7 individual moves that can be done as individual form sets, or the form can be done all in continuous motion. If one is going to do all the form sets in continuous motion, the order is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way through 7th. This is going to be a demonstration of the first part, or the first section of the first movement. The first movement in some ways is the most complicated movement in the Dragon and Tiger set. It involves movement of the left and right sides, upper body and lower body simultaneously. And for beginners or those who are not used to learning choreography or learning Qigong forms, this can be very challenging to coordinate not only the movement of both sides of the body simultaneously, weight shifting, arms raising and lowering, but also the inhalation and exhalation phase. So for the beginning, as you're learning this move, this is going to be the first part that you're going to learn. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here is we're only going to be working and developing one side at a time. So we're only going to be really working with one arm at a time, and we're going to be following an inhale up and then an exhale down. And this is a circular movement. I'm going to demonstrate it and then we'll kind of break it down. So as with almost all Qigong forms, we begin with the arms hanging at the sides, chest is lifted, but not pushed out, belly sunken in slightly, right? Checking with the structure, spinal structure, knees are slightly bent. You can always wiggle the hips, wiggle the tailbone to prepare. And as I begin to inhale, my right hand is going to wrap around and it's going to be in front of my upper left or upper right quad, right? So you can see my hand tapping here. My hand is going to be out away from my hip, roughly 6 inches or so, okay? So I'm going to wrap around. Okay, again, inhaling up. Exhaling down. You can already see that there's a circular movement happening here. The right hand wraps around, not to the center line, okay? This is really important to distinguish that my hand is not coming up and down the center line. It's actually on the right side, and that's how it's going to be throughout this movement. The right hand is always going to be on the right side of the center line. The left arm will always be on the left side of the center line. So I'm wrapping my hand around the front. Notice my arm is not lifting, okay, yet. And really, ultimately, we're learning how to not lift the arm with the shoulder, but actually keep the shoulder sunken, keep the elbow wide, and really lift with the expansion of the inhalation. So wrapping around, inhaling up, palm is gonna turn and start to face upward. Okay, this is from the left side, this is from the right side. Okay, and just to get a closer view, my hand as I'm drawing up here is kind of rotating open so that at the turning point, my palm is starting to face up. And what this does is this actually creates this deep internal rotation or external rotation from the wrist all the way up through the elbow, the shoulder, and then into the scapula, right? So my scapula, as you can see from the back, is down. It's not up, I'm not lifting my arm up, I'm actually keeping my scapula down. And thinking about having the elbow wide is really important for that. And then as I exhale, I'm going to actually rotate and allow my shoulder blade, notice this shoulder blade rolls, right? Rolls, and then the hand starts to descend, palm facing in towards the body, back to the front of the hip, okay? Front of the hip, and then I'm coming around the belt. So I'm in the belt line, also known as the chi belt, and literally it's the line around where you would have a belt if you were wearing a belt, coming around to the hip. This is what we're gonna call the Clint Eastwood, right? I'm going to grab, I'm going to draw, and then I'm gonna sink my arm straight down the outer side of the right leg. IT band, right? The right hip and down the IT band, pointing at the ground, and then the move begins again. Exhale down, inhale wrapping up, exhale down. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the movement. Things that we want to think about are, first and foremost, move with the breath. Okay, inhale, the arm up. The hand is going to stop below the sternum, right? So I'm not lifting my arm up high, and this is going to be a common mistake that's going to be made with beginners, is the arm is going to lift up high, and then there's going to be tension in the shoulders. So we want to actually practice a little bit lower from the center of the chest, right? You can see how I'm stopping here, and then I'm going to exhale, draw my hand back down the front of the hip, around to the side, and then down. All right, so keeping the shoulder low, elbow, notice how my elbow is going out wide. This is helping to draw the scapula away from the body. Exhale. Another common mistake is that beginners are going to move quickly. We're going to move quickly, and we're also going to skip steps. So there's a tendency to kind of cut across, and as we cut across, just lift up. We want to make sure that we're actually following the full arc to the front line, then up, and then we're learning how to roll the scapula, right? So when practicing this movement, it can be good to actually do some practice shoulder rolls. And then as you come down, another mistake will be to cut across the hip, to come here, to come down and just skip and go straight through. We want to come down to the front of the hip and then all the way around, sink the hand straight down and begin again. Move really slowly and practice syncing up the movement with the breath. It's going to take time. It's going to take repetition. Stay soft in the body. Stay soft in the breath. Practice, practice, practice. Do at least 10 on each side before switching. And check out my next video and we'll talk about the next component in this first form.